right.
All right.
Sunday night. It's 9 o'clock on the right coast. So it's time for the Eternal Baseball podcast. And 6 shows in, we're like, show prep. Come on. Who are you talking to, man? So as always, we're your hosts. I'm Mark Weber, my oldest and best friend, Brent Rotundi.
Hi, everyone.
Coming to us from the bomb shelter, it looks like.
These hard times in Utah.
Well, you're certainly safe.
Yes. You can see the toilet paper over my shoulder.
I see some supplies in the background. Like,
yes, I'm good for 6 months.
If anybody was worried, or if anybody was trying to buy toilet paper last year, now you know.
See you on the other side.
You know who was hoarding all that toilet paper, but you got enough kids.
Just a little bit.
You got to make sure you're well taken care of. So we're back, and like I should throw stones, given that I was an avatar last week with no camera. So we're back with the $20 camera, which is a big upgrade over the $10 camera. So we're hoping will last the whole show. And
it's like 8K, man. That's
impressive.
Right?
The Easter egg to watch is the family cat on this end is sleeping on the computer desk. And there's no way that lasts an hour, right? So sooner or later tonight, my cat Colin will make his podcast debut, and we're looking forward to that. Another exciting week of Eternal Baseball, and we got a couple things to share with you. And that means, of course, I got to share the screen here. So, actually, hang on, I want to start with something else. So, if you've been to eternalbaseball.com, you can see on the front of our homepage, you can sign up for a newsletter that we try to send out every Friday. Friday's the travel day, the off day, where there are no live games. So, we try to give you an inside look at what's going on and how the league works, and some stuff you're not seeing in the box scores, or maybe not getting on the podcast either. So I'll break that rule right away, because this is something we built for the newsletter that went out on Friday. So baseball is so stat driven, and if you like what we're doing, you're a baseball nerd like both of us. And one of the shames that we're really trying to work around and find ways to bridge the gap is to allow fans better access to some of the stats that are going on in baseball. Because if you can't really dig into the stats, you're not really enjoying the league to its fullest potential. So I broke out my yellow belt Photoshop skills and PowerPoint skills, and put together this look at run differential, which I always like looking at when you're trying to figure out who are the best teams across leagues, and maybe who's overperforming or underperforming. So this is a look in order if you go down the 4 columns, and this was as of Friday's records, for how the best to worst teams are doing record-wise, and then how their run differential matches up with where they are in the league hierarchy according to overall rating and record. So the Giants are the runaway, literally, giants of the league. And they've been pounding it out there in the National League. But if you look at their run differential, they aren't. I mean, it's nice, but it isn't like they're head and shoulders above everyone else the way they are record-wise, right? Like Boston and Houston actually have better run differential, but trail them a little bit. And so I just think it's an interesting thing to look at. And you can see some teams that have maybe overperformed. Like the Orioles are above 500, but they've been outscored. Mets the same way, 18-15, but they've been outscored by 3. And then you can see some other teams that have had a run of tough luck, like the Cubs, who are 18th in the league and 3 games under, but they've scored 14 more than they've been scored on. Or a team like the Rockies, which is prone to blowouts once in a while at home. So they're only 3 games under. They actually had a pretty good week, but they've been outscored by 63 runs. So, I mean, but in Colorado, right, that can just be a bad homestead.
Probably, yeah.
So, I mean, they've anyway. I think it's kind of interesting to take a look at, and then you see some of the guys down low who are really, that last column is teams who are really taking it on the chin. Although the Rays at 7 games under have only been outscored by 8, and they bared their teeth a little bit this week. Took 2 out of 3 from Boston, way up there at number 2. So, that's one of the reasons I think why I like baseball and why a lot of people like baseball is, in football, if the number 2 team plays the number 25 team, 9 times out of 10, the better teams win in that game, right? But in baseball, man, it's all about the starting pitching and the bounce of the ball or the humidity in the air, or it takes a lot of games to determine who's actually a better team. And so I think that's why people can not sit through, but why a 162 game season doesn't seem too long to baseball fans. So
well, maybe the Blue Jays this year, but
the poor Blue Jays. And we're going to have the Blue Jays tonight,
yes,
right here. Not by accident on the Eternal Baseball podcast. I mean, we looked at, and we're really trying to highlight every team, before we hit any team twice, or as close as we can get to that. So there were like 5 games to choose from this week, with 2 teams we haven't had on the game of the week. And man, one of them was Toronto at Chicago, the White Sox. And the White Sox are having a pretty good year and chasing Detroit there in that AL North. But the Blue Jays have just had it rough. And to the point that Dave Stieb got moved out of their rotation just for being ineffective. I mean, he was pitching to the tune of a 13.5 ERA. Ouch. And every team, even teams that are struggling, has depth, just because, even the expansion teams have sometimes 30, 40 years of baseball to pull from. So when it was Steve getting crushed versus giving David Wells or Pat Hentgen a shot, like, why not? Roll the dice. And the randomizer in the league, that means every season, every player will be 30% worse up to 30% better than their basic stat line, means David Wells might be primed for a great season, and you wouldn't know it if he never gets to pitch. And Dave Stieb might be bad all year by Dave Stieb standards. Well, really by anybody's standards at 13.5. So we figured it couldn't get worse. So, and that's actually who we're going to see tonight is David Wells pitching for Toronto at Chicago. And I didn't know anything about the Chicago start. I had to look him up. His name's Jim Scott. Pitched from 1909 to 1917. And I had to, always got to brush up on it. So that means he was gone before the Black Sox scandal. Wasn't involved in that at all. And it's kind of just a throwaway name. Jim Scott, black and white pitcher, didn't pitch that long, but he really did have a really good career. But here's where he gets interesting, man. He reads like a pro wrestling villain. And that's great. He's from Deadwood, South Dakota.
Wow.
First South Dakotan in the big leagues. His nickname, and I haven't found out why, was Death Valley Jim Scott, which is great because he didn't come from anywhere near there. And remember back then, and this is part of the reason for the Black Sox scandal, even the very best players were butchers and mail delivery men in the offseason, right? It was still glamorous because there was only really professional baseball, boxing, and horse racing. That's about it for North American sports. So this was a big deal if you were a big league ball player, but it didn't mean that you just went home to your mansion in the offseason. And so after Jim Scott retired from baseball, he was served during World War I. And when he came back, he became a National League umpire for a decade.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So Jim Scott, who a Renaissance man, right? Soldier.
Death Valley Jim Scott.
Yeah, right. Soldier, umpire, big league pitcher, and apparently Undertaker in his later years. So so look out for Jim Scott. You thought Dave Stewart had a good death stare.
There you go.
Wait for us to take a look at Jim Scott. And he looks very pleasant, but
I'm eagerly waiting to see him give up 8 runs in the first two thirds innings.
Anybody we talk too much about ends up haunting us.
Actually, but no, remember our anecdotes from last week were working. So I think you may have just reverse jinxed it.
It could be.
He's going
Norm
9.
Cash, right? I told the 10-minute Norm Cash story last week, and then he went yard. So then I had to riff and come up with stories for everybody. But anyway, that's our look at Jim Scott tonight on the mound for your Chicago White Sox. And let's be honest, our Chicago White Sox, because the home team, that's me and Brent, are 0-5 this year. So if not tonight, I honestly don't know when. So we'll take a look.
We may just have to pull the plug.
Right? Oh, man. So we'll see if we can keep George Bell and Jose Bautista and Jesse Barfield in the ballpark tonight. So we'll move over here. This is what we do every week. We take a look at the week in review. So
this might be my favorite segment of the podcast because we don't have that just utterly, the utter disappointment that happens about 5 minutes after this segment.
Right. This is but prelude here.
This usually is the peak of the podcast.
Right. It's about to get rough. So we're looking here at week 6, and I've highlighted your division leaders over on the left. And the one that I highlight the team for is Oakland, who had a really good week, 2 of them in a row, 4-2 back to back. And last week I think it was Los Angeles in first place, and the Angels, and they fell off a little bit, and I think maybe the Twins were in there. The Twins actually had a good week. Anyway, Oakland is your only new division leader this week, and I watch a lot of Oakland games because I'm a huge Rickey Henderson fan. So even if I'm only watching Rickey play on my computer screen, I'll take it. And he is having the worst year. He's like 220, I think. I think 2 games have ended with him getting thrown out on the bases, like as the last out. Like, so. But Oakland has turned it around. Reggie Jackson and Al Simmons have both turned it on. So Oakland is playing well right now. In addition to some of the usual suspects, as San Francisco rolled out their 5th consecutive 5-win week. Like they've only had 1 week where they lost multiple games. I guess it happened once here, 5-2. But I'm going to look it up. I'm not sure anybody has beaten the Giants twice this year. Like they are rolling. And I watched a couple of their games against the Expos this week because I'm pulling for the Expos and it's not working. But the scary thing is Barry Bonds is at like 230 with like 4 homers on the year. So this is the Giants without Bonds hitting.
Oh,
so now the one thing I did that weakened them a little bit this week was when I watched them play, they had I don't know if it's a weakness for a team that's 28-7, but they don't have a lot of history at shortstop. Sometimes even great franchises just have that one spot where they've never had the all-world guy. And so when I was watching them just beat on the Expos, and it was, well, here's Willie McCovey and giving way to Bill Terry, who's a nightmare if you don't know him. He hit like 380 over a 3-year span in the teams, I think. So it's Bill Terry who's keeping Will Clark on the bench. And then Willie Mays, no big deal, right? And then Mel Ott, and like, good Lord, it just rolls. And then it gets down to like the 8-hole, the shortstop. You're playing Kevin Mitchell at short. And Mitchell barely played third for the Giants before they went, yeah, you're left field from now on, where he made barehanded catches, right?
Amazing catch.
I guess he had good hands, but not shortstop hands. He had like 4 games there for the Mets, I think. And I couldn't swallow the idea that Kevin Mitchell was a full-time shortstop based on 4 games with the Mets. So we kind of took his shortstop eligibility away from him. So they're going to have to, if they're going to play him, they'll have to play him as a subpar third baseman or honestly a subpar left fielder. But sneaking that bat in at shortstop when he really never truly played there is an advantage they don't need and probably shouldn't have. So
that was like back in the day where I tried to sneak John Olerud in a catcher, and you nabbed me back at that. I forget what that sim was called. But
yeah, it looked about the same as a ball coming in and then ricocheting out like fog.
Wait a minute.
Once in a while, that's cool. Like they tried Raines at second base for most of the season. So he's still got second base eligibility for the Expos, but he's rated terribly there. So if you want to, bite that bullet to get Moises Alou in left and play Raines at second, fine. but it's going to hurt. And there's a couple other guys like that. Dale Murphy was a catcher when he first came up with the Braves. So, if you want to do it, okay, but usually it'll hurt. But that seems like really too much of a stretch. So, Kevin Mitchell, if you're out there, we apologize. You're going to have to do your damage from somewhere else. The only other roster things that happened this week, I don't know. I'm worried that we may have missed some really quality relievers out there. And I put a post up about it because this week the Yankees were playing. I was watching the Yanks play, and nobody was injured. There had been no injury announcement, but Dylan Betances was not available for the game. And I hadn't seen that before. So I looked into it, and it was because he'd been used so much. He was on pace to go well beyond the innings he had pitched before. So he was going to get like 120 innings out of the pen. Wow. So I like very much that the sim keeps track of that and reads that, right? That just goes, you know what? You can't pitch them every day. Same way with catchers. If you don't get them a day off sooner or later, their stats start to creep down because you can't catch 162. So I like that it keeps track of that. So I was looking at the Yankee pen and thought, how is Dave Righetti not in here, right? Like, I wondered about that when I was just looking at the pen and feeling a little thin with Betances missing. So I looked him up, and his numbers are outstanding. Like, he was, for mid-80s closers, he was, if not top of the heap, in the argument. So anyway, I'm worried because we kind of started with the rosters with the Hall of Famers and then added in the guys who had accumulated the most WAR for their squads, and then also tried to keep an eye on relievers who piled up a bunch of saves. But guys like Righetti, who started for half their career and then became a reliever, I think may have evaded our fishing net, so to speak. So we put that out this week. And, if there's someone on your team we've missed, an Expo fan brought up a really good pitcher named Woody Fryman, who I'd never heard of right before we launched the league in February. And his numbers are fantastic. And so we added him right in. So if there's a reliever specifically that you're missing on your favorite squad in Eternal Baseball, drop us a line. We always are happy to hear the voice of the fan. And we don't know these teams individually as well as the diehard fans do. So if there's a Dave Righetti missing from your squad, let me know. So Righetti got added to the Yanks in the place of Lefty Gomez because he and Ron Guidry were long reliever spot starter lefties. So with very similar peak numbers. So it seemed like they were kind of filling the same role. So Gomez went to the inactive roster, bumping Waite Hoyt off the Yankee team altogether. Waite Hoyt's a Hall of Famer. So that's a tough cut. That's a tough conversation to have.
I love this league.
Exactly right. Sorry, buddy. I know you're in Cooperstown, but you can't make the Yankees travel squad. So, but Hoyt played for a couple other teams. Second to the Yanks, he spent like 4 or 5 years in Pittsburgh. So he made the Pittsburgh, I don't want to say minor leagues. That sounds so dismissive. But he made their inactive roster. And poor John Candelaria got his walking papers. So
that was a tough one. That was a tough website edit, I have to say.
It's a trickle down effect. And as good a pitcher as Candelaria was, not really knocking on the Hall of Fame's door. So if Waite Hoyt shows up and needs your spot, I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. And
I just love those old baseball cards of Candelaria, though. He just looked like a maniac. He and like Hrbosky? No, I'm pronouncing that wrong.
The Mad Hungarian.
Yeah, how do you pronounce it?
Hrbosky.
Hrbosky, thank you.
Yeah, I just love that era of Pittsburgh baseball, just for the hats, right?
Yeah,
with the horizontal piping, and when they started wearing stars like Ohio State helmets for good plays, like I'm all over that. Like, could you imagine trying to get that by today with the uniform police out there, right? Like one guy's got Stargell's got 100 stars on his hat. I can't even.
Why aren't they bringing that uni back though? That's the big question.
I mean, I think they got to do something, right? Because it's getting kind of lean in Pittsburgh these days. So anytime it gets lean, they kind of go retro. So although the Padres are going retro right now, going back to the brown and kind of mustard.
Love it.
And,
I love to see it.
And it looks like they're going to have a strong year anyway. So anyway, getting back over here, I digress. Your teams that have really strong weeks, Baltimore had really strong weeks. They're currently 1-2 against the Yanks, looking to sweep them tomorrow. The White Sox, who we're going to see tonight, had a very good week. The Reds, who I've been talking about as a team that had more talent than their record has indicated, has woken up. Pete Rose was one of our players of the day, I think yesterday, with a 5-for-6 day at the plate. It's a good day to be Pete. The Giants, always good. And the Rangers showed a pulse for the first time. Well, maybe not the first time. They had a 4-3 week, but 5-1 this week. Very strong for your Texas Rangers. And then your teams that really took it hard this week, Boston, which is surprising. And as a Yankee fan, I'm like, cool, Boston looks normal, looks mortal. Same week the Yankees go up. So nothing done there in the East. They kind of hold their spot. But Baltimore closed on both of them, and Baltimore had a hand in that 1-5 Yankees week. The Mets had a tough week at 1-5, and the Brewers, who've had a tough season, just really hit ground this week. Like they were trying to get through the Suez Canal. Milwaukee Brewers are sideways at the moment. So that's what we're looking at from the weekly tracker. Let's see what else I can show you here as we'll get the league up itself. There we go. And another note, we were talking about George Brett's hitting streak last week. It actually ended this week, but he's the clubhouse leader. Nobody's had any more than his 24-game hit streak. And again, remember, this is against the best pitchers of all time at their absolute prime. So I don't think anybody's going to catch DiMaggio in here. But 24 games is pretty impressive. So he also got up at 400 early in the week, which was cool because I wasn't paying attention to baseball when Brett made his run. I think it was 80 when he hit 390.
Yeah, amazing.
So seeing him at 400 made me grin a little bit. Like, okay, I mean it's early, but you can see from the leaderboard over here that he slipped a little bit down to 383.
And look at Playboy Tris Speaker, man.
Right. Who we're not going to speak poorly of, because now he's leading the league in hitting. But yeah, and I looked at this too, and I went, and this is the Yankee fan in me. I went, okay, I see Nomar, and I see Veritek, but Speaker was a Red Sox, and they traded him away, right? Johnny Damon down there at number 10, 340, he was a Red Sox who got loose. So, just saying. Babe Ruth leading homers. Seemed to remember he wasn't a rookie with the Yankees. So, I just, throwing that out there. I was pretty happy to see your new ERA leader, Mort Cooper. Who I've been told I shouldn't say anything. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So, but Mort's leader of the pack down there. So good for him. The only other bit, just a couple small injuries this week. No big deal. Guys that are going to miss about a week. Michael Conforto, I think he hurt his elbow. So Lenny Dykstra came up for the Mets.
Wow.
Let's see who else. It was John Tudor, who's had a really good year out of St. Louis's pen, which is because it's hard to make the Cardinals starting rotation. He's hurt, so Max Lanier will be up for about a week. And then Roy Oswalt is out for about a week for the Astros, and they add Chad Qualls to their bullpen. So no big injuries. There's really only been one big injury on the year, and that was Jose Fernandez for the Marlins. Missed about 6 weeks with a hip injury, but he'll be back, I think, on Thursday. And the Marlins have actually stayed live, kind of. I mean, they're 7 games back, but they're only 3 games under. So for a team that lost their absolute ace for a month and a half, and Dontrelle Willis missed a week too, Miami's actually playing some credible baseball down south. So that's where we're at in Eternal Baseball, and we're excited to try to break our streak today. So
I think this is our day.
I mean, if it isn't, if not now, then when, right? So we'll skip ahead here.
We will keep cherry picking until morale improves.
Right. So this is where I got a little out of control. Oh yeah, and I think this week is when that rogue Yankees White Sox game I simulated out of sequence will actually come. I thought it was April 1st, maybe. So if you've been looking at the standings, wondering why the Yankees and White Sox have an extra game each, it was an error on my part. So today was the 28th. So this was today's action. And as always, the scoreboard's posted up on our website. Go to eternalbaseball.com every day. This goes up along with the standings beneath it, the league leaders, the box scores, the players of the day. You can catch that every day. Always new, always updated at eternalbaseball.com. And then this is tomorrow's set. And we are looking for Toronto at Chicago. So,
that butterflies, man.
Right? I'm actually going to back out here and come back in from the share screen because I'm not positive I shared the audio. And we may as well make sure I do that right from jump. All right. All right, so we should be good. And we got large icons and large names so people can see it better. Toronto's the computer, we're the home team. Here we go.
It's a beautiful day.
Right? It's a beautiful day for baseball in Chicago from the cell. I love that nickname because it's all concrete and metal. It's just not the most, from the outside at least, not the most aesthetically pleasing part. But given that the White Sox kind of have that little brother attitude, right? Because they've been around as long as the Cubs pretty much, right? But they've always been not quite as popular. So that kind of scrappy underdog, screw you attitude is very South Side. So the fact that I love it when they take corporate nicknames and just truncate them so they become worthless. So U.S. Cellular Field became the Cell, which is phenomenal. So it'll be David Wells for your Blue Jays, so a lefty. And so this is what I've been doing. I'll bring up the lefty lineup. Looks like we're missing a shortstop. And I'm not sure why. So let's see. Check the depth at short. It should be Luke Appling. Not sure why they think he's inactive. We'll fix that. So Appling becomes active. We've got 12 pitchers. There's somebody here who shouldn't be here. So we'll look at the OPS. It's not Fisk. Probably Johnny Must. Yep. So we'll send him down. Sorry, buddy. And that'll get us Appling back in the lineup. Let's see, Appling. Short. Okay, and then, so this is how they were set, their batting order from before the year. And then if we look over here, RP stands for replay. And that means how are they doing in this season right now? So in this season right now, Alexei Ramirez playing pretty well. Now, granted, this is through, is that only 2 at-bats? No, 54 at-bats versus Appling, who has 83, but he's outplayed him. And
let's go with Luke Appling, man. I got a feeling.
All right, he's the Hall of Famer, and I think defensively they're the same. So, but all right, so we'll stick with Luke Appling. Let's get back to this. See if there's anybody else red hot or ice cold that we want to adapt for. Carlos Lee has been absolutely dreadful in left field. 503 OPS on the year through, looks like it's only 15 games, 48 at bats.
So cool to get can Harold Baines play left with some efficiency?
Where is Baines isn't even on the main roster.
Oh, my bad.
But Shoeless Joe is. And
oh, yes, playing. There it is.
So, all right, Carlos, you can take the night off. And against lefties, I guess they play Lawler. I don't know who he is. Jerry the King. No, Sherm Lawler, who's having kind of a rough year. But Fisk isn't much better. So we could do Fisk for Lawler. At the very least, we can monkey with this batting order, even if we're not changing anybody else out. But that's the only other swap I see.
If you want to get Fisk in there, I'm cool with that.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to argue with us putting Fisk in. So, okay. So their best hitter is Abreu. He's hitting third. Frank Thomas is cleaning up. He's second best. Manosa's leading off. He's been there. Third best. Yohan Moncada is too low. and Ordonez has struggled. So maybe we get Moncada second.
I like it.
And then Eddie Collins. Looks like Collins might be low too. So it might be Collins and then this. Wait. This to Appling. Okay. And that gets a lefty up there so they can't just pile a righty in the middle of the order.
I like this lineup, Mark. I have optimism.
All right. So, yeah, we got lefties and switch hitters a little diced around. I'm liking that better than what we came in with. And tonight it's Death Valley Jim Scott, who looks like a very nice gentleman.
There's no way we're losing tonight. No chance. Look at this lineup.
If we lose, we're done. No game.
Maybe one more anecdote?
Yeah. I'll have to make something up. I went 4 anecdotes deep on Jim Scott. So, all right.
To guaranteed rate field where Toronto will take on Chicago. Toronto had won just 2.
Oh, I forgot we're facing John Olerud.
Chicago has
right, your favorite.
I'm torn.
David Wells takes the mound for Toronto. He's made 1 start on the year and is 0-1 with an earned run average of 10.80. His first start against Chicago, he'll be opposed by Jim Scott for Chicago. He's made 6 starts on the year and is 3-2 with an earned run average of 4.15. His first start against Toronto. It's 41 degrees and we have light rain. Pitching for Chicago, Jim Scott. Leading off for Toronto, first baseman, John Olarod.
Well, close enough.
I saw him at a mall one time in Seattle. He was with his family shopping.
Was he wearing a helmet?
He was not. Seemed like a very ordinary, cool dude, I have to say.
Did you leave him alone?
Yeah. I mean, he was with, he had like 1 or 2 kids and his wife. And it's like, well, yeah.
I've never bothered anybody in public that I've run into, but a lot of times I'll try to get near them physically, right? Just to size them up in person. Because I'm 6'2", 240. Like I'm a bigger guy. And the one that killed me, saw Jorge Posada at a House of Blues event that Bernie Williams was playing his guitar at. And I saw him across the way, and like with the ears, like you can't hide if you're Jorge Posada. So I was like, oh, dude, I'm not going to bother him, but I'm going to go walk by him. And he looked like a piece of me that fell off, right? There was nothing to him. I mean, obviously, he was in good shape, but short, kind of wiry, and you're like, God, that guy caught for 15 years in the big leagues. But more power to hit Jorge.
How was the Bernie Williams show?
He could play that guitar.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Not bad. It was one of the perks of the old McFarlane stop.
Yeah, seemed like a cool dude, Bernie Williams. Like he was excited to play baseball, but didn't care that much. Like he's got other things going on.
I see a problem we can fix here right away for our White Sox. We got Shoeless Joe out here in left. Got Maglio Ordonez in center.
Yeah.
Or maybe Minosa over here right. I gotta believe one of those guys is better off at center field. So I don't know why it's not letting me go there. Hang on.
Do you have to do one pitch maybe?
I should be able to switch them. Human. Oh, I'm controlling both on accident. Toronto's a computer. I guess maybe we got to do a pitch. Okay, we'll give it a shot. So, John Olerud, one of your favorites.
Third baseman, number 20.
Good start.
Donald.
Right? We're on fire. Okay. So, looking here, let's see where we are at center field. So looks like Shoeless Joe can play center, and he's pretty good there. So okay. So we'll go to lineup. Jackson, you move to center. Ordonez will hide you in left with your 4 rating. I'm a little more comfortable with that. Okay. So I didn't go all the way around. So we got Maglio, who's underrated, I think, as a player. Got lost behind Frank, I think. Shoeless Joe, who's fine with us in Eternal Baseball. Minnie Minosa, Yohan Moncada, keeping Robin Ventura on the bench, which is a shame, but that's how it works. Gapling, I got to change that picture. I'm slowly changing out. A lot of the pictures we're using are colorized for the guys who played in the 1910s and such. And I actually like the black and white photos.
They look so much tougher.
Yeah, and it's just more real. It gives you a better idea of, oh, that guy was a star way back when. So we got Luke Appling, Eddie Collins, real good player, reigning MVP, and player of the week this week, or play of the day earlier in the week. And then Death Valley Jim Scott, looking
Love it.
like I don't want to say school teacher, because I like school teachers, but I mean, this guy was a war veteran in World War I, right? Pretty rough. And he's Death Valley Jim Scott. But anyway, and then, Pudge. So, and one of the things that shocks me a little bit about Toronto's rough start is look at that lineup between
That's legit.
the 40 homer guys. Donaldson just barely misses 40 homers. You got Barfield with 26 homers in the 7-hole, like ridiculous. So anyway, we'll hope they're rough tonight.
Right fielder.
And then Jim Scott's a
number
tree.
19.
Hey, look at this.
Jose Bautista.
In the setup for tonight's game, I made it. I did the preview in an octagon, and I had this picture of Jose along with, unfortunately, I would say the career highlight, but Robin Ventura's most memorable moment, getting taken to the woodshed by Nolan Ryan. So we called this the grudge match tonight, even though there really is no skin in the game. But and no offense, Blue Jay fans.
David.
Have we ever had an opening inning like that?
I don't think, maybe not ever. I don't think we've ever seen a 0 on the board after the top of the first. But to Jose Bautista's credit, he took that shot from Odor and didn't even come close to falling down. So in a way, I don't think that's an embarrassing photo. I think it kind of showcases the moxie of Jose Bautista. So anyway, mini minnows. See, we're on fire.
Number 10.
All right.
Moncada.
We're not sending anybody at 28%. We can run on Whitt, I think, with the right guys, right? You see him down there. He's got a 6 for defense and a 5 for an arm. So we may be able to get a little.
He looks like a country singer.
Yeah, be careful. When we rip on guys, they tend to.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry.
So we got George Bell in left field, Jesse Barfield. Only in center field, he qualifies. Look at the arm, though, right? If you never saw Jesse Barfield throw, he's probably the best arm on either team, pitchers included. And then Jose Bautista over here in right, Josh Donaldson at third, Tony Fernandez at short, Roberto Alomar at second, John Olerud at first. And you look defensively here, 9-9-8.
Fernandez was a wizard, man. I used to love watching him play.
Another really underrated guy, I thought. So, yeah, not much is getting through that. Even Olerud at 6. Olerud had a nice glove. He was on that. I don't know if they set the record, but there was a Mets infield with Olerud that at least brushed up against least errors on a full year by an infield. Like they had 22 errors as an infield. It was ridiculous.
That is amazing.
So that was a good Mets squad. All right, here we go. So we got Moncada up, Minosa not going anywhere, and that's not going anywhere either.
First baseman, number 79, Jose Abreu.
All right. You know what? They mispronounced his name. I hope he uses it as fuel.
Oh man, it's happening. Uh-oh.
Right? So we send Minosa to third at 54%. I think that's a big no.
No.
Especially on a ground ball to left. So even though Bell's doesn't have much of an arm.
Yeah, I was gonna say do not press.
I did that once last week.
Designated hitter, Frank Thomas.
I always liked Frank.
He's awesome.
If he'd had just a drop of personality, he would have been just the absolute man of.
He's making up for it now with all these commercials, right? I don't know quite how to describe those without offending anybody, but
the enhancement,
performance.
and
drugs.
He was the guy who was Mr. Anti-PED, right? When everybody else in the 90s was getting fingered, people would, when they'd ask Frank, he would just go, no, never. I would never even consider doing that. And you're like, wow. I guess I'll take his word for it. First, Paul Merrill was the one pointing fingers in Senate testimony. But anyway, I'm guessing Frank is just still ripped and beefy enough that they thought, you know what, this is the guy. Have you seen? There's a new one with 3 guys. Have you seen this one?
No. What is
It's Frank, and I think it's Flutie.
Flutie's involved with the performance analysis?
I mean, it looks like a father-son game, right? With Flutie next to Frank. But the third guy, one of your favorites, Andy Van Slyke.
Yes.
Getting paid. Right?
How did they get Van Slyke?
My favorite bit is of those 3, right? And Pittsburgh could only keep one. Van Slyke, Bonilla, Bonds. They kept Van Slyke and regretted it, although maybe they were just happy to get rid of the other 2.
Yeah, I gotta say, Van Slyke seems like he'd be a cool dude to hang out with.
Yeah.
And I know in the past broadcasts I've been completely wrong with some of my
Right.
broad statements like that, but this one I'm pretty sure is true. I will research it, however, for the show notes.
I'm just saying that for remaining career, and Van Slyke started a couple years before either of those guys. Yeah, they probably picked the wrong horse, but I don't see Bonilla getting any commercials.
I was gonna say that was the horse they could afford.
Yeah,
So
I guess that's true. I don't see Bonds on my TV anymore.
Bonilla, how long is Bonilla getting paid for?
Oh God, he gets like $1 million a year for the next like 4 seasons or something.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Mets fans call it Bobby Bonilla Day.
I love
Once
it,
a year.
He must be so chipper that morning every day or
Right?
every year. Just comes around.
I mean,
he goes out to a nice dinner with his wife.
He probably lost a lot of money not getting that up front, and interest and such. But still, to look forward to that $1 million check getting direct deposited every year.
Wait, so when did he start deferring it? Do you remember how long it's been now?
I mean, he was done by the late 90s, right? By like 97, 98.
So it's over 20 years, 2 decades now.
Yeah. Cha-ching, just like that.
That's a lot of inflation. You're right. You probably.
Yeah, but still.
It's a good story. It keeps it kind of relevant in the news. And
there was a bit where Henderson had $1 million check, Ricky, my guy, that he didn't cash because he just liked looking at it. And after a couple, and he didn't need that million at that point, right? And so at some point, the A's called him up and were like, called his agent, I'm sure, and we're like, we're trying to balance the books here, and we're off by exactly $1 million.
There's an IRS agent in our office right now. We would sure appreciate it.
Could you check, Ricky? We show that we cut the check, but I don't know who his agent was at the time, but the story goes he called Ricky Henderson, and Ricky was like, "Yeah, Ricky's got that check. Ricky's got that check right on his wall. Ricky just likes looking at it." All right.
Wasn't there some rumor on Manny Ramirez, something like that? Did you ever hear that one?
No,
I'll see if I can dig it up. It may be just totally fabricated, but there was some rumor that he wanted to tip a clubhouse guy, and so he told him just to he's like, I've got a check in the glove compartment.
Just take that.
He's like, just take that. It was like a week's worth of his salary, so it was like a $37,000 check or something like that. And I'm sure it's probably totally false.
Well, but
I will look it up. But
I mean, Manny's one of the few guys you can't dismiss any story like out of hand, right? Like they all could be true. All right, so back to business here. Let's see what one of the best nicknames too, the Big Hurt. Let's see what the Big Hurt's got for us.
Oh no! Come on.
It looks like 2.
They didn't get 2 on that one, did they?
Well, it's Fernandez to Alomar. I mean, how could they not?
Bro. Well, that's right. It's a good tandem. I'll give him that.
All right, we're coming for you, though, Toronto. So here's Delgado. Yeah.
Second baseman, Roberto.
Dude, he is slinging right now.
Yep. Like it.
Left fielder, George Bell.
Oh, and there goes the no-no.
Center fielder, Jesse Barfield.
Nice and easy.
Second baseman, Eddie Collins.
Eddie Collins is fighting Posada for the ear championship of the world. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Keep coming. Keep coming. Oh, there it is, like a shark tail. Dun, 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 dun. There you go. Kind of creepy that my cat Colin waited for the Eddie Collins at bat.
This is perfect, man. We'll do some clickbait on YouTube with that.
Right. Hey, everybody likes cat videos, right?
Cat crosses YouTuber. You won't believe what happens next.
And then Eddie Collins salutes
Catcher,
my cat.
Carlton.
Here we
With
go.
a single left. We're not bunting with this at 3. I guess we could have hit and run. But
Luke.
apparently
I'm
that
going to
wouldn't
have some
wouldn't have gone well.
self-restraint. 3 innings of self-restraint, Mark. That's all you get. And then the
And then the
and
wheels.
then the outlandish recommendations are going to be dropped on your head here.
And then the wheels come off. All right. Luke Appling, who you lobbied for in the lineup, and he gives us a
Love
shot.
this guy. No.
I think it's got to be 70% before you even consider it, right? Like,
Yeah.
no.
Especially with 1 out.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Center fielder.
Shoeless Joe.
Yes, here it is, man.
He's a great bunter, but
Oh, wow.
I think you got to let him swing, man.
Yeah, Shoeless Joe.
Oh, no.
Should have bunted.
Should have bunted. Second double play tonight.
Catcher.
But we're getting ducks on the pond.
This
And
one goes out to my dog.
Hey, here comes
Rest in peace, Sparky.
broken-hearted Ernie Whitt.
Oh, he's
Wow,
got some
so
wheels.
Nifty that Abreu didn't go for the ball or cover first. Just
That's nice that Ernie Whitt was running in cowboy boots. That was
his back's tired from carrying that MVP award all offseason. Right? Tony Fernandez tests Luke Appling and loses.
John Olerud.
Here we go. Again. Oh, Abreu got it. Okay, good.
Look at this, man. Look at these
Left
the
fielder.
defense.
Yeah.
Everything's clicking right now.
Feels like it could be the night. Another leadoff guy on.
Right
Hot
fielder.
stuff tonight
Vinny
at the
Minoso.
cell.
All right, it's not the 4th inning yet, so let's play it straight.
Now, Minoso's a decent bunter.
Your call, man.
Nah, I think it's too early, but maybe later. Keep it in mind. Yeah, because we really wanted that pop to deep short. Luis Gonzalez's favorite play.
Yon Moncada.
Oh, man.
Not again. You got to be.
It looks like take out slide at second base.
Did it say that?
Well, it just says could be 2 steps on second. There will be no throw to first.
Chase Utley.
So, yeah, exactly, right? All right, so MVP, let's see it. Well, yeah, he doesn't want to throw home because he knows what's about to happen.
Come on, we need a homer. Oh,
A double.
Designated hitter. Frag. Thomas.
A double that Moncada can't score on, but okay. All right, Frank.
Second base.
Oh, they don't want any part of Frank.
Oh, cowards.
Eddie Collins.
Here we go, Eddie.
All right, I'm just going to put this out there, right? Great bunter, rated 10 out of 10.
Dude, if you're feeling it, let's do it. Let's do it.
You know
Squeeze?
what?
We haven't squeezed yet this season.
I don't have the stones for that, right? Because if we lose, and I was getting loose with a squeeze play in a 0-0 game in the third.
2 out. Well, I mean, all right. Well, let's wait till let's have our cutoff of the end of the third, and then we could get wild.
And then we'll get creative. All right.
All right.
Man.
Third
Just
baseman.
decided to go to second on that one, huh?
We've left 5 guys on base so far in 3 innings, but cool. Oh, that's not coming back. Oh, off the wall.
Right fielder. Jose Bautista.
That doesn't look good.
Uh-oh.
That's not right.
Dang it.
Bautista mad at his photo.
Designated hitter. Carlos
lashes out.
Delgado.
And it's 2-0 Blue Jays. Should have squeezed.
Second
Let's
baseman
get this back on track.
Roberto Alomar.
Now we got work to do.
Left fielder George Bell.
Does it count as a 1-2-3 inning if you start
Catcher,
with a single and a
Carlton.
homer and then get 3 guys?
Maybe.
All right, maybe we'll see. Come on. I gotta believe we're gonna score on
Shortstop,
Wells.
Luke.
We've been putting guys on all damn game.
Come on, Luke.
Now we're talking.
All right.
Center fielder
So the show.
Come on, Shoeless.
Now again, great bunter, nobody out.
Fisk is so slow. So if you think, I mean, is there
Yeah.
differentiation between the bunting? Oh, bunt for hit. Yeah. Man, if you're feeling it, we're in the 4th.
Let's change it up. It's not working. Shoeless show.
Oh.
From what I've seen on the game, if you bunt it foul, you damn well better not try to bunt it again. So that kind of takes the bunt off the plate there.
We'll take a double.
left fielder
Liner.
Maglio Ordonez.
Maglio's not bunting. Ugh.
Right fielder Minnie Minoso.
First and
Come on,
second,
man.
nobody
man.
out. Not only are we maybe not going to score, we're not even going to advance either. Like,
Ye of little faith.
oh, look at that.
What's
Here comes Fisk.
Wow.
Baseman Young.
Look at Fisk. After you said he was slow. And now, Mr. Mancada
Get down.
hits it at
Center
Tony.
fielder
He's a black hole over there, man.
Yeah.
Just nothing's getting by him.
We're on the board, though. Let's see if Mancada has the legs. Sure does.
catcher Ernie Whitt.
Sad sack Ernie Whitt. Yeah. You're going to write a song about that one.
Tony.
Nashville, Ernie Whitt.
That slider in the dirt. All right. Feels like we're back on track.
First baseman Jose Abreu.
Abreu.
Designated
David Wells looking especially spry.
Right? Yeah. Hustling over the first. Like there's a hot dog waiting. Come on, get out of here. Yeah.
Gotta get out.
Better. So poor play. So Donaldson had a shot at it and didn't get there, which is
Eddie
rough for a
Collins.
guy with a 9 rating, but okay. Take Frankie at second. Maybe we'll send him at 8%. I just want to see the look in Donaldson's eyes when Frank Thomas takes off, right? All right.
catcher Carlton.
First and second, 1 out for Carlton Fisk, who hits to Tony Fernandez. It's exactly what we want.
Come on, Eddie. We need you.
Looks
Shortstop
like another takeout at second.
Appling.
All right, Luke.
All right.
I like it. Here we go.
We got burners on the corners here, man. Fisk and Frank. Nope, too high.
First baseman John Olerud.
We got 9 hits and 1 run.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, right?
Third baseman Josh Donaldson.
Luke Appling with the poor play.
Right fielder Jose
All right,
Bautista.
here's the guy who hurt us last time.
All right.
I don't know why Donaldson felt frisky to run on Pudge, but okay. So with 2 outs here, we always have the opportunity to pitch around a guy if we want. Bautista already homered off us, but the guy behind him is friggin' Delgado.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I mean, Death Valley, Jim Scott, right?
Delgado's got better numbers, so I think we better take our opportunity here with Jose. There we go. Nice.
Pitching for
New
Toronto,
pitcher.
Mark
Oh,
Eichhorn.
no.
Center fielder
You remember this guy?
Yeah, he had a couple of really good years, didn't he?
He looked like when he threw so sidearm, the ball probably looks like Donaldson threw it. So I guess it's good that we got Wells out because we were
How did
getting
we
hits.
get
We
one
were
run off
getting
David
hit.
Wells? That is
Not
embarrassing.
9 men left on base.
That is so embarrassing.
But we do go lefty to righty, so that's something to think about as we get later on. Not that Eichhorn will be in later. Oh, wow. Look at Shoeless Joe.
Boom.
Welcome back.
Fielder.
Mark, it is happening, Mark. It is happening.
Lift the cup to Shoeless Joe Jackson. Literally just happy to be here, right? So good for you, Shoeless Joe.
Come on, Ordonez.
Yeah.
Right fielder, Minoso.
I'm not sure if that was a bunt or just a. I didn't tell him to bunt,
baseman.
so no, ground ball.
Moncada.
Doesn't matter. I'll take it. We tie it up on Shoeless Joe's
Designated
monster shot
Carlos
to right.
Delgado.
And Scott's only thrown 60 pitches, so
Complete game, man.
might not even have him touch that pen if he keeps it up.
Second baseman, Roberto Alomar.
Oh, he might have beat that. Oh, I beat that.
Left fielder, George Bell.
All right, Alomar can run.
Yeah, we
so I
better
think
throw over at least once.
we'll keep him a little. Try to keep him close. Oh, we got him.
Yes.
Sit down, Roberto. He's spitting mad about that, I'm sure. But all right.
Come on, Luke.
Grappling on his horse.
Get there.
Not. Oh, in the stands.
Yes. Oh,
Right? We're gonna let it play. That's how I'm feeling about this. I do like that the crowd went extra nuts because that was a really good catch.
oh, I'm sure. Yeah, nachos were knocked over.
Right? I know that we're more hyped than the White Sox fans are because it's been a longer year for us personally. But we're here, bottom of the seventh, 2-2. White Sox. Waiting for it. Dun, 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 dun. Ready? Yeah, not much there.
I cannot hit the left side of that infield.
No.
Hitter, Frank Thomas.
Come on, Frank. All right.
Second baseman, Eddie Collins.
Collins is another good bunter, but I don't think you're bunting with one out in the seventh.
Maybe for a base hit? What do you think? I guess not.
Too late. Probably would have been a good idea because, yeah.
Center fielder, Jesse Barfield.
All right, Barfield, who's had kind of a rough year.
Catcher, Ernie.
Ernie coming in at 208.
Oh, man. He's going to have enough material for a new song here soon.
Right? He'll be at the bar afterwards with a pen and a pad, I'm sure. Just that easy.
Pitching for Toronto, Dwayne Ward.
I think Ward has had
Catcher,
a good. So you can see the stats over here. Where it says real, that's what his actual entered stats are, right? His peak numbers. And then the replay is how he's doing this year. So he's been okay, 2.6. Not quite as good as maybe expected.
I think we're going to get to him.
Hope so. Oh, Fisk gives it a ride.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah, George Bell
Stop.
on his horse.
Appling.
All right, Luke.
Come on.
Use the force, Luke.
There we go.
Okay.
Does he have wheels?
Fielder.
Little bit.
Oh, man.
And Whitt's Whitt's average back there. So
Yes. Well, actually, we're tied. I'm so used to making these decisions. We're
Right.
down 7.
right. So yeah, you don't have to straight steal. You can hit and run or run and hit. I think you can make a case for any of it.
You want to do a hit and run? Should we get
Whatever you want. Dealer's choice.
so much pressure. Let's do a hit and run.
I didn't. Foul.
All right. I guess.
Again?
Well, That's up to you. Maybe hold
come on.
off.
Oh,
Okay.
no, I went. Oh! Okay. That's on me. Fine. Shoeless Joe, hit one out. Make me a hero.
Left fielder,
I just want to point out that he wouldn't have scored on that from first. So I still haven't cost us completely yet.
Now this double that Ordonez is about to.
I'll take a double. No.
First baseman, John Olerud.
So here we are, top of the ninth, tie game.
So how's
too high?
Third baseman, Josh.
Jim Scott has 81 pitches.
That's
amazing. He could go 12 maybe.
He's looking pretty good. I don't know, it's up to you. I don't know what our pen choices necessarily would be, but
I mean, let's take a look just to be aware of it. Sometimes our relievers are actually up there as starters. Like Chris Sale is a reliever.
Wow, it's good to have. That's a nice ace in the hole there.
To remember him because lefties cannot hit him. 201, so he's a weapon. But their pen's not bad. Keith Folk, Roberto Fernandez, Hoyt Wilhelm, Bobby Thigpen.
Oh, I forgot about Bobby. Yeah, Hoyt Wilhelm. Right. I mean, that guy's a knuckler, right? So
yeah,
I could
and
pitch every day of the week.
Forget how good Keith Folk was. Like even Boston fans, because he pitched his arm off to get them that title, and then was never the same, and they blamed him for being bad at the end. Like they booed him, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You pitched every day to break your curse, and now you're mad at him for throwing his arm out. So we do have choices, but I mean, this guy's rolling. He's only thrown 80 pitches. He's only made one mistake, really.
Look at his face. He's not even struggling.
Yeah, he's good. He's not sweating. There we go.
Right fielder, Jose Bautista.
All right, now.
Dang it.
The guy who homered.
It could have been Tony Fernandez, right? At this point in the game.
Even though earlier I said, I don't know how you pitched to Delgado instead of Bautista. We're not putting him on. But I fully believe we got to pitch around this guy. Because if we don't and we homer, and he homers, it's just, I can't believe they pitched to that guy again. So
all right.
Pitch around doesn't mean you walk him. You're more likely to walk him, but you're not giving him anything to hit. So he's more likely to tap out. He's not going to hit it with power. Well, here that's a replayable quote. but
that may be the title of the podcast.
He's not going to hit it with power. All right. Oh no.
Go stay down. We got it.
Oh,
right
God.
fielder.
We're gonna walk off. Here we go.
God, I hope so. Top of the order. Minnie Mouse. All right, Minnie.
Third baseman, Moncada.
Come on, Moncada.
Maybe.
Oh, did it get there? Yes.
And now we have the catchphrase for tonight's show from Brent Rotundi.
I'm just walking away.
Right, we're gonna walk it off. So to recap, the 0-5 Eternal Baseball crew with the competitive White Sox against the really struggling Toronto Blue Jays. Needed an ace performance from Death Valley Jim Scott. And a walk-off shot from Yohan Moncada, who was 0 for 4 before that final at bat, to walk off the Toronto Blue Jays and put us in the winners column for the first time.
I feel so weird right now.
Right? Like I don't even know what to do with my hands.
I mean, usually we're just trying to wrap this up right now.
Right. I think I'll go pour Gatorade on my cat, and that'll cement the big win. So
one weird trick to make your cat angry.
Right? It'll never come to me ever again. Hey, Colin. Nah, I remember. I remember what you did. So pretty happy about that. Given that the monster fly ball in the top of the inning went to shaky fielding Ordonez, who we moved to left. So the baseball gods could have absolutely got us. But instead, there's joy in Mudville. The White Sox walk it off 3-2. Congrats to my new favorite player, Yohan Moncada. Looking forward to buying your rookie card soon. Couldn't be happier about the 6th edition of the Eternal Baseball Podcast.
I'm so sad we should have gotten Hawk Harrelson on board. Can you imagine his call for that?
God, the good guys win 3-2 over the bad guys.
Oh, we really missed an opportunity there, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we'll dub him in.
Yeah, we'll find him. He's not hard to find. But
is he on Cameo?
Yeah, probably, right? He should be.
There we go.
So the White Sox walk it off 3-2. First win for Brent and myself. And it's the first game from the Monday schedule. We'll get the rest of the schedule up later on Monday. And again, if you like what we're doing, tell your friends. You can find us at eternalbaseball.com. You can find us on Facebook. Find us right here on YouTube. We've got all the other 5 games. So if you can't bear how bad of winners we are, just check out the first 5 weeks. You can see how much losing hurts.
And probably the subsequent 5 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you next week when we'll try to keep this streak going. If nothing else, we've shown that we're streaky. So we'll have to try to live up to this next week. But you can also find us on Facebook. So there's lots of ways to interact with Eternal Baseball. And like we said before the game, wondered if we maybe missed a couple of quality relievers out there like David Gaddick. So check out your team. Tell us if we've missed somebody. We always want to make these rosters better and give everybody a chance for this kind of euphoria. Congratulations to the Chicago White Sox, the Pale Hosers, with a 3-2 win over those Toronto Blue Jays. I'm Mark Weber and my partner Brent Rotundi. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on the Eternal Baseball Podcast.